How's it going? Just want to make a little video after the Golden State game, Golden State and the Rockets. Man, those last two games, dude, I'm telling you, the officials were all on Golden State's side. I mean, that's all I can say. And here's how I think it happened. They saw in the earlier games, they must have saw something that the Rockets were doing. They must have saw the Rockets getting away with or getting fouls that weren't fouls. And so they decided, you know what? We're not going to call any fouls for Houston. You know what I mean? That must have been fresh on their mind. They must have been trying to, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose, but they don't know what they're doing. What they're kind of thinking in their mind that they don't realize is, man, Houston gets all these calls, dude. We're not going to let them get those calls again. And it's been that way for James Harden all playoffs. That's why James Harden's doing ridiculous, because James Harden is a different type of player than the NBA's ever seen. And the NBA doesn't like that. James Harden is the type of guy that goes to the line 10, 15 times a game. See what I'm saying? And the NBA doesn't like that. They think that's making the league more unexciting, and that's all I can think. The only other thing I can think is just that marquee teams like Golden State and stuff like that, they get favorable calls. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched Golden State all playoffs, but I know those last two games, Game 6 and Game 7, I mean, I've got a friend who's like 50-something years old, and he said, he's a Rockets fan, and he said that after that Game 6 and Game 7, he's done with sports. He will never watch another NBA game again. And this is a guy that this year watched every single game the Rockets played but one. That's how... I mean, dude, it's just ridiculous. I mean, Eric Gordon, he's running to the hole. One of the Golden State Warriors, I think it was Looney or whatever that guy's name is, he runs across the court and jumps into him, into Eric Gordon. And then another guy slams him from another angle, and he gets twisted sideways and falls on the ground when he's trying to do a layup, and they don't call a foul. He wasn't going straight up and down. He ran from across the court and jumped. He was flying sideways in the air and just slammed into Eric Gordon. And then, Harden, I've watched so many Rockets games this year. When Eric Gordon runs to the midcourt with his arms wide open, he never does that. When he does that, he got fouled. He doesn't do that. And James Harden, they took away 3 3-pointers that he made. No, 4 3-pointers. Or 4 3-point fouls. Where in at least 2 of them, or 3 of them, even, I think it was Reggie Miller commentating, even the announcers admitted, oh my gosh, dude, that is a foul. Player safety, he said. You can't, when a guy is coming down, you can't be right underneath him and he lands on you and falls back. So that's 3 3-pointers. That's 9 points. And then another 3-pointer. Another 3-pointer, I think it was Harden took it. He made it, and they fouled him. And they said, common foul, take it out on the side. That happened twice. And both times there were so many plays that were clearly fouls. Both times there were clearly fouls. And there was another play, I think, where we made a 3 and got fouled. And they said, common foul, take it out on the side. And then Kevin Durant goes to the hole. They barely touch him. They call a foul. I mean, it's ridiculous, dude. I mean, and then when Golden State gets up by 10, then they start loosening up a little bit and calling fouls for Houston. I'm not saying it's rigged, but I guarantee you that the refs came into that game 6. I don't know if Steve Kerr told them something or something like that, but they had it fresh on their mind. And game 6 and game 7, they didn't give any fouls to the Rockets. I mean, it was at least 14, 15. I even think maybe even 25 points worth of fouls that were obvious fouls when you look at them on the replay that they didn't give us. You know, I mean, and you say they're just going to let them play? That's ridiculous. If they had done that to Golden State's players, they would have done it. There's favoritism in the NBA. Even sports experts admit, if you're Kevin Durant, if you're Russell Westbrook, if you're James Harden, you're just going to get fouls like that. And if that's true for players, isn't it also true for teams? The superstar teams are just going to get calls like that? There we go. That's my point. And it's hard to beat a team that is that good when they're getting all the foul calls. Anyways, though, that's all I want to say. And plus Chris Paul got injured. They played the Spurs where Kawhi Leonard was injured. I mean, really, if you go back, almost every championship that Golden State won in the past couple of years, like when they played the Cavs and they had everybody injured, there's always super injuries. Now, I'm not taking away from them. That last one they won, where they won 72 games, they were the best team in the league. I expected them to win it. But this year, they got past the Spurs. Kawhi Leonard, the best player's injured. Then they play us. We're beating them 3-2, and our best player all series gets injured, and they come back and win 2 games. I mean, but I don't want to make this video about that. I want to make it about the refs. Favoritism in sports needs to quit. In the same way they do it in basketball, they do it in football, they do it in baseball, they do it in every single sport. So anyways, though, that's my opinion. That's my little rant. Thank you very much. Bye.